Well, family, grace and peace. I am your host tonight, Bishop Kevin Whitaker. Listen, I am excited uh, on what we're going to be discussing on tonight. Listen, I'm the senior pastor of the Epic Church. I want y'all to come on in and share this video. Um, we're going to be talking to author and 911 dispatch, Tremaine Barnes. I want you to share this because we're going to be talking about different things as it relates to the 911 profession, emergency dispatch. And then we're going to be talking about his book, Unraveling. Which is a book on mental health. I think this is going to be a great discussion. And so I want y'all to come on in, and begin to share this video. Amen. I'm excited about it. And I want you to get excited about it. Again, we thank God for our founder and our CEO, Dr. Jacqueline King. Thank God for all of you who are tuning in. Thank God for my church family, the Epic Church. Thank God for my fellowship, Raising the Standard International Fellowship, my lovely wife, Apostle D. Witt. Listen, I want you all to come on in, and we're getting ready to have the discussion, amen, on what it looks like to be a 911 dispatch. And then we're going to talk about this book, Unraveling. Amen. Amen. So listen, y'all go ahead and share the video. Let's get our numbers up. Let's get our numbers up. Amen. And let's get excited about what's getting ready to take place. Listen, I pray everybody has had an incredible day. I pray that you're walking in the choicest blessings of God. Pray that favor is upon you. And listen, I'm telling you, we're getting ready to have a discussion. Again, we're going to be talking to author Tremaine Barnes. He's an author. He is a 911 dispatch, and he is my brother-in-law, married to my baby sister, and just an all-around incredible guy. So we're going to be talking to him tonight. I want you to be inspired. I want you to be encouraged, and I want you to be informed. All right, getting ready to bring him to the platform now. Mr.
Hello.
Barnes, how you
Hello.
doing, sir?
Doing well tonight. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Listen, I was telling everybody that you are a 911 dispatch and author, among many other things that we will probably get a chance to talk to. If not, we will certainly do a part two. Um, and also that you are my brother-in-law, married to my baby sister for most of your life.
Facts. Half of it, at least.
For most of your life. And so, listen, family, I want y'all to come on in, and I want you all to share this video, because we're going to get into some conversations about what it looks like to be a 911 dispatch. And then we're going to top it off with discussing his book, Unraveling. Um, it says here that T.M. Barnes is married, the father of four wonderful children. He's a graduate of Full Sail University with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Creative Writings. Having spent his formative years in the bottle of the great state of Missouri, he started writing short stories at a very young age, inspired by authors of various genres. He honed his talents, allowing him to teach a wide audience through various writing styles and genres. Now living in Memphis, Tennessee, T.M. Barnes writes, hoping to inspire, entertain, connect connect with the next generation of readers and writers. Uh, Mr. Barnes,
Yes.
welcome to BWE, BME, and Too Hard to Break. Listen, I think you're an all-around incredible guy. I think you're an all-around inspiration, and an interesting guy. And so we're going to get into the conversation tonight. Let's have some fun. Feel free to talk, discuss. We don't want to be too scripted, but my first question, I want to say, what, if anything, inspired you to be a 911 dispatch?
Well, I've sent. It's going to be kind of strange, but the facts of it is Carl Winslow from Family Matters.
Wow.
I've
That's
all
interesting already.
it's like I didn't grow up with a father, so he was like that guy to me.
Yeah.
And he was a police officer in Chicago. And I went to the police academy and I hurt my knees. That didn't work out. And I still wanted to serve the community. So one of my sister's childhood friends, while I was doing like physical therapy to recover from hurting my knees in the police academy, I was working at our real-time crime center. And
Wow.
duty, and I called, like, you take the notes from Crime Stoppers and call dispatch, and one of my sister's childhood friends answered the phone, and I immediately recognized her voice because she was like an older sister to me, and she was like,
Hmm.
been at dispatch for so and so years, and I was like, well, that's the next path I'm gonna go down so I can still serve the community in the police academy or in the police genre without actually being a police officer.
Wow, I think that's interesting. Number one, that and for anyone on here that possibly didn't have a father in your life, I want you to listen to his story and his testimony. Is that even though he didn't have a father present in his life, he found inspiration even through a television character. I want y'all to tap into what I'm saying here, the power of television and visual that was present on TV that he was able to tap into and receive inspiration. And I would even dare to say God has a way of giving us what we need, even when we're not, like I tell people all the time, God can speak to you through anything, right? He'll speak to you through a TV commercial. I tell people he'll speak to you through a billboard. You know, he'll speak to you through anything. And for you, he spoke to you through this character, Carl Winslow. But not only that, another thing that's interesting is that you went to the police academy and you hurt yourself, but your passion and your desire to serve the community led you down another path. I just preached a message on Sunday and I was talking about interrupted trajectories and sometimes how it is you have to embrace your detour. And so what it appears is that while you were going to be a police, God somehow redirected your path and put you in a space where you could be, I would say, just as effective in serving the community as a police officer. Would
In,
you say?
in many regards, that is very true. Because as they call everyone in the field, like first responders, we're the first of the first responders when you call in the work
Absolutely.
situations.
Absolutely. I mean, before the police would even arrive, right? Before
Right.
they would even show up, they have to come through you all's dispatch. They
Correct.
have to come through you all. And is it safe to say? Because I don't know anything about it. I just know that it's a highly stressful job. We'll get to that. Is it safe to say that it sometimes is a challenge in determining how to respond or when you should send out, or is there
Well,
ever a time where you don't send out?
because of the nature of the job, the training really sets you up so that there's never a challenge of whether to send someone out or not. We have what's called hang calls or a
Okay.
pop call where someone may call and they called intentionally or unintentionally, but they
Okay.
can't you. So because we're answering the certain saying our questions, asking them for attention, they will, for whatever reason, can't respond. We have tools that'll let us know the general area, and we have to send the police out to check for those people. So if
Okay.
we don't talk to you and you call us, you're going to get a response from the police. So
Wow.
it's never an
E-
instance where you don't send the police.
wow. Wow. So let me ask you this. Um, the stress is there a high stress level? I could only imagine what it's like to receive calls for an extended length of time. I'm gonna just say me, man, I'd be pulling my hair out of my head. Like I don't know. So how do you deal with? Because I'm certain you've heard all kinds of things. Uh,
I think because of the nature of the job. There's a huge level of stress, but they also try and during training offer you opportunities to kind of attempts to desensitize you. But at the end of the day,
Okay.
human, and sometimes someone's worst day can resonate with you in a way that you don't expect. So it
Wow.
come overbearing, and we have peers, like we have peer counselors, we have actual, like, it's called concern. Basically, our insurance will cover so many real therapy sessions if you become too overwhelmed, and it extends to like our family, our children, our spouses. If ever they
Yeah.
feel job or job related issues are overbearing to a point, you need to speak with someone. There are avenues. Along with that, like say we have a call and it's like something detrimental in the moment, we have what's called a quiet room where there's like literal
Okay.
massage chairs, and you can go in there and decompress and like kind of try and compartmentalize it all so you can continue
Okay.
your day.
So what would you say then, because a lot of people would look at this and say, well, hey man, you're just answering phones. It can't be, what's to it, right? Like people who are uninformed or ill informed would look at a 911 dispatch and maybe ignorantly suggest that, hey man, it's just answering phones. What would you say, or what kind of skills do you believe that is needed and necessary to function as a first responder?
Well, for anyone who would say it's just answering phones, for the most part, they will be accurate because 90% of the calls, you're just answering the phone. You're just
O-
taking information, you're disseminating information, you're
Okay.
directing people somewhere in the city where they need to know or go to talk to someone who can help them. But also, 911, for the most part, is people calling at their worst moment. So it's
Okay.
that it's just a call, it's just a call that is that person's worst day, that
Mm,
person's moment of the day. So you have to take it, take on the understanding that no matter what your life is dealing with or going through, this person is calling
mm,
you to get help. So
yeah.
it's just a call. It's just a call to me, but to them, someone may be shot. Someone may have fallen in a hole. Someone may no longer be breathing. A child may be in a pool and they can't get to them. It's just the
Wow.
worst case scenarios happen, and they always call us. The other side to that is some people assume that the police are the parents of the neighborhood, so they'll call for literally anything. And
Mm,
my 7-year-old won't go to school this morning. Can you send the police? We don't deny anyone the police. So some
okay.
police have to go out and talk to the 7-year-old. And sometimes that 7-year-old is just a little kid. Sometimes that 7-year-old, they'll determine he may have a mental illness that's now manifesting and it has to be addressed in a certain way. So we can
Oh,
anyone service at any time.
wow. I still think that it takes a certain level of patience um, to deal with that, a certain calm resolve. Um, in
And it
or
does
be-
a
yeah.
training class on revolving doors because some people make it through it, some people don't. It's like a 6-month process.
Mm.
And
So so
that's getting the door.
so while people may think it's simple, there is an extensive training and continued training,
Continue.
right? In order to function at a high level. And this job is serious. I remember you saying to me one time that if you didn't show up to work, that the police come to you.
They will. They do. Well, we in the police, if anytime you can't find a relative or a coworker or whoever, you can call the police here in our city and request a wellness check. And basically, if you haven't shown up where you're supposed to be, where you're known to supposed to be, and you haven't answered your phone, your family wants to know that you're okay. So they will send officers to knock on your door. Sometimes I may have overslept through a an alarm, or the schedule's been mixed up and I'm not supposed to be there, but they don't know. And so you get that knock on the door and there's an officer at the door saying, "Hey man, your office is making sure you're all right." Well, I'm fine.
Wow.
You have to check in or say, "Oh no, I'm on my way." So it's just
Wow.
they are diligent in making sure that the people they have hired to do the job for the city is available to do the job when you're supposed to.
So let me ask you this. So as calls are coming in, there's no way to prioritize. Everybody's a priority, correct?
Yes and no. There is a
Okay.
way to prioritize calls because my 7-year-old won't go to school, doesn't get the same priority that 3 blocks over someone's been shot.
Sure.
But someone who's been shot doesn't get the same priority as someone who, well, let's say someone who is arguing with their spouse would get more priority over my car was stolen. Yes,
Okay.
so there's a ranking
So
system, but
there is a sifting system or ranking system. Okay.
everyone gets attention, but depending on the severity of in immediacy of the issue, depends on
Hmm.
to go where first.
So just listening to you, um, I can only imagine, and I know you handle it pretty well. I think in my humble opinion, I think that things like this, people have to really be called to do it. I don't think that it's a job for everyone. Like you said earlier, not everyone makes it through the process to become. You would think, hey, they can do that. Somebody can do it. No, and then it's going to be. Is there some kind of? Do y'all go through any kind of mental evaluation or anything?
Well, yes and no. Like there's for the police academy, when you go to the police academy, there is like a full blown psychologist that you have to speak with, you know,
Okay.
and they do an extensive background check. Again, it's a 6 month process before you even make it to orientation, but it's like for dispatch, they don't like send you to a therapist to say, can you do this or whatever. It's just if you should happen to need a therapist, they will offer you that. They will extend an availability of those to you.
Just because of them understanding that all day for a full shift you are answering potentially life altering calls.
And sometimes
uh
back to back.
yeah, so okay, so now let's transition a little bit, because this is a highly stressful job. I can only imagine what it's like in that center, uh, for 8, 10 plus hours a day. Um, I can only imagine. And I can't think of the name of the movie. It's one of my favorite movies with my guy in it where he answers the phone, and I think you and I talked about it. I can't. What's his name
Was it
again?
Hall?
Yes.
He was a police officer. They put him behind the desk to answer the phones.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so, but what I remember about that movie is that the environment was stressful. Like some people were breaking down. Is that a reality, or was that art imitating life,
That
or
is
was that just a movie?
well, the only part of that movie that was fairly inaccurate was them taking a police officer and making him take 911 calls. It's not as simple as that, but
Okay.
everything else was almost spot on.
Wow. Wow. So that leads me to this. So, knowing that you are a highly skilled man, writer, author, uh, and you know you have your bachelor's from Full Sail, which is not easy to get. I don't care what nobody say. Um, so I'm going to, I guess, I guess my next question is, how do you decompress, right?
Well,
From
oftentimes my wife will say, "So how was work today?" And my answer is same old, same old. Most
Okay.
weeks I don't remember. I literally, and I'm the king of compartmentalization. When
Okay.
it happens and it's high stressful, it is immediately removed from me because it's not my stress to deal with.
Okay.
I take in the questions, like people will be crying, they'll be screaming, they'll be arguing with someone else, and I don't change because it's not my stress. So if they're screaming and crying, I understand that, ma'am. Can I have your name? Okay, can you repeat your address? I'm not going to get excited with you. I'm not going to heighten your trauma or
You're
stress.
not gonna make it worse.
Right. I'm not going to take it on to myself. So I don't take on anyone's issues in regards to anything that's happening. I take the training that I was given and apply it without interjecting myself into their situation.
I think that is highly skillful. I don't believe that the average person would be able to compartmentalize on that level, right? Man, I couldn't do it. I'd be all over the place, man. Folk would be crying. I'd be crying with them.
Well,
I, you know,
some people are that way, but I think that it just depends on the person, because we have some people who will sit right next to you and they'll be yelling, "Ma'am, ma'am, can you, ma'am, sir, can you?" It's like that's how they manifest their abilities and their training. I've never been one to get overly excited about things that don't actually concern me.
sure. Listen, family, we are interviewing 911 dispatch and author of Unraveling, Tremaine Barnes. I want y'all to do me a favor. I want everybody to pause for a minute and share this video, right? Wherever you are, those of you on YouTube, we hope that you are enjoying this conversation. Those of you on Facebook, we hope that you are enjoying this conversation. Those of you on LinkedIn, we hope you are enjoying this conversation. So do us a favor and and share again so that we can just kind of get this information. I think it's very interesting, the conversation that we're having, because many people are ill informed about what it takes to be a 911 dispatcher. They don't know the stress levels of it. They don't know what it details, and I think that he's given us great insight into what that looks like. I'm going to ask one more question, and I don't know, it may or may not be a good question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, and then we're going to get into his book Unraveling. I want to ask, just in terms of community, what is there a real difference in the kind of calls that you get from different communities, as you know, like from our community, from the African American community, from our other counterparts? Are there different kinds of calls, like on a percentile basis, you get more calls for this or more calls for that? What is that like?
Well, from the past 6 years, when I first got there, I thought that would be a something, but it's really not. There is
Really?
there isn't, like, again, this is the city of Memphis. So from the river to the county, anything may happen at any time. And it's just, you can't really say,
Black,
like,
white, Chinese, it
it
don't matter.
doesn't matter. Anything can happen regarding anyone at any time. And it's just, we get calls from every creed and color regarding everything: stolen cars,
Wow.
houses broken into, domestic violence, parent child issues, in having arguments with someone in the stores, having arguments with someone in the street, hit and runs, it's across the board. It's a human experience across the board.
See, I like that. I like that because it is often um, noted that, well, the black community is always 911 this and 911 that, and back in the day, Flavor Flav came out with a song, 911 is a joke, and all that. That's a long time ago. But
They
it's
will call
I'm
us,
not.
say that during the call.
Say that again.
Call us and say that during the call when they're asking for help.
saying 911 is a joke.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's that's hilarious. I don't mean I mean that's crazy. I got you on the phone. 911 is a joke. Well, apparently you want to laugh because you called, right? And
And
so
they'll say that while trying to understand why they can't get the help they need, but they'll call at say 12:04, and we take the information at 12:05. They're calling again to say, why aren't the police here? And it's just like
oh
it's been 1 minute,
right.
and
Give us it's gonna take a little longer than 1 minute in order for us to get there.
like you just called, or I just called 3 minutes ago, and the police station is right down the street. Why aren't they here? The police
Wow.
are patrolling. They're not sitting at the police station at like a track meet waiting for the gun to go off so they can run out. They're already on calls all the time, 24/7. And they come to you after they finish the previous call that they're currently on.
Wow. All right. So again, as I stated, you're an author. Um, I don't know the full measure of everything that you do. I know that you have tapped into songwriting now. We'll probably talk about that. Really good music, y'all. I'm telling y'all, really. I was like, you didn't write this, and he was like, yeah, I did, and so it was interesting. But this book, I want everybody to get a good look at this, and we'll tell you how to get it. It's called Unraveling. And I know that when you look at it at first sight, you're thinking this is some kind of animation. This is a kid's book. But this is not necessarily a kid's book, even though a kid, y'all look at these graphics, look at this. This is uh amazing, right? It's actually amazing. The illustration is amazing. And so when you read this book, you would think, just from looking at it at first glance, it's a kid's book, but it's a book for kids, it's a book for adults, whomever wants to read it. But it's unraveling. And I noticed on the first page you said that this was a very personal project, right? A very personal project. And so I want you to kind of get into what unraveling is really about. What is unraveling about?
Okay, so the basis of it, or the underlying theme, is the golden rule: treat others how you would want to be treated.
Mm,
And it it all stemmed from a conversation I was having with a friend on Facebook, and about what if everyone could see what everyone else is going through written on their forehead or on their skin. and
wow.
and it was just like, if people could see that you were depressed and knew it for a certain, would they treat you differently, other than just walking past you or just dismissing you when you say certain things? And so I was like, people can be unraveling in the middle of their day from any different neurosis, and people wouldn't know, they just write them off. So,
Wow.
and that's where it was birthed from. And I've got family members and friends who deal with different levels of neuroses and different level of mental illness, and it was
Sure.
just an avenue for me to, I guess, show the community how to address these people when they're in crisis.
Right. I mean, because I was looking at it and reading through it, and first I was just overwhelmed with the illustrations. Like, this is top notch stuff, y'all. This is not trash, but
Okay, so
looking, go
that
ahead.
the picture you just showed, that was a
uh
dedication to the psychologist I spoke with about some of the intricacies of the how I wanted to tell the story and not be wrong in the process. Yeah, that's actually a chibi of a woman. Her name is, oh my god, I'm forgetting her name, but her and her husband are my friends on Facebook as well. Dr. Nicole
Ferguson.
Ferguson, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just that illustration was done by a woman I met in India. She's not even from America. She's also not from America, but that's separate from the rest of the book. That one particular illustration.
Yeah, it's just it's top notch. It's amazing. Um, but I gotta ask this. This was interesting to me. Why did you choose? I think I know the answer, but why did you choose yarn? Right?
because, because yarn can literally unravel easily.
Unravel. Come on here. I know. See, I'm almost a doctor in philosophy for figuring that out. I'm almost, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, he uses on all of the illustrations, and you can see here. I'm telling you, this book is so interesting because what he's saying is, the foundation of it is to treat people how you want to be treated, and the question is if you saw. This is man, this powerful to me. When I'm reading it, I'm like, man, I think I'm gonna preach a whole series on this. Like, I think this is preaching material, right? Like, I'm not just saying, like, this is ministry material. This is preaching material because how this is actually biblical. We should treat people. The Bible teaches us to do unto others as we will have them to do unto us. And so it's biblical to do that. But the $1 million question is, would we actually treat people different if we knew what they were going through? And I think that the challenge is that many times we withhold from being open for the
Fear.
challenge of being judged or criticized, right? From being honest. And so the question that you pose here is, what if I didn't have to say anything, but if you could just see what I'm going through, that you would handle me with a little more care? Am I correct in that?
Correct. And that's really what I want everyone to get from the book. The fact that I shouldn't have to tell you what I'm going through.
Bro,
You should be treating people godly regardless.
regardless. Regardless, like, man, listen, this is ministry for me. I'm telling you, I'm going to do a whole series in 2025 uh based on this unraveling, because I think because it highlights mental illness, right? And in our community now, that's no longer taboo. It used to be years ago, but now it's no longer taboo. I thought that it was, for me, brilliant for you to do it in an animated form. I really thought that was brilliant because, and the wording, everything is even though you're highly intelligent, it is not difficult to understand.
And that was the
While,
goal.
yeah, while reading it, you understand while reading the book. It's not complicated to comprehend it, is what I'm trying to say. And so but an adult as myself, soon to be 54 in a few days, um I could get something from this. And to be honest with you, it's challenging. And I remember looking at the end and how they all came together. I mean, I just thought it was a brilliant demonstration on what it means to walk in humility, what it means to walk in love, in having a genuine care and concern for your fellow man, right?
Right.
Like I thought that was demonstrated very well in the book. And children can read it and
And
they can gather from it.
oh, because the
Say it
main
again.
and that was also the goal. The main character, his name is Blue, and he's blue because he's depressed. So he decides to go about his life, and he forces himself out of his funk, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to go for a walk and try to not be so blue."
Right, right. And I mean, this illustration, y'all need to get this book now. And he gonna tell you how to get it here in a minute. And then, the bus scene. Man, that whole bus scene, I first of all, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this about my brother-in-law. And he's not just on here because he's my brother-in-law. Let's be really clear. He's on here because I find him to be interesting, intriguing, and intelligent. Right, right, right. All of them have. and he got, Lord have mercy, he got his fan, his number one fan, my baby sister, is on here, and she's sticking up for her boo and telling us that all of these characters have their neurosis written on them, and they do, and it makes it easier to understand what's actually taking place, you know, in this whole book. And let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a long book, right? It gets to the point, and and you get on through it. It's a 15-minute read. It took me a little longer than 15 minutes because I was trying to extract. I did a lot of pondering as I was reading, and it's fun to read.
Hey,
Okay,
let me. You just mentioned that bus scene. Let me ask you a question because I know you like movies. So,
right.
did you see the driver's license?
Let me hold on. I did, but I can't remember when he lost the driver's license, right?
Right, he
And
lost
then it,
dropped his
it
wife.
yeah. And
So,
what was on it? I don't
well,
remember.
there's a movie with Omar Epps where he was just like a menace. I think Sanaa Lathan was in the movie, and like he was trying to get with her, and he had no, it was Nina Long. So he was being like a stalker or something, and he had this driver's license with like a horrible mean mug, and I was like, I'm, I'm gonna give the bus driver a horrible, like the same. He's got the same posturing and everything as in the. I'll
Yeah.
later, but
Yeah, I see it. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. I know you probably can't see it, but I'm telling you, this is interesting. It's a quick story. It's witty. It's, even though it is animated, it's intelligent. If you are an adult, I think that it would be worth purchasing. If you have people that's in your family that deals with certain diagnosis, it will be good for you to read, and it will give you some compassion for the people in your family, or the people that maybe you even work with. Maybe they're not in your family. It'll give you compassion for those that you come in contact with, and maybe even a better discernment. That's a good word. Discernment for what other people are facing. And I would even say that, you, and I'm talking to the general public, what you deal with, and what you are faced with, and what you are challenged with, particularly as an adult in this world, because life be lifing and adulting be adulting every day of the week, right? And so, because of that, because of you understanding you, then maybe you can look inward and then begin to understand others. I think this book has so many different avenues that we could go, just in terms of how we care for one another in this community. And I would even say, um, your job. I think all of that kind of plays into even this.
indeed.
It just kind of shows who you are as a person uh in this world, and I believe that this world is better because you are in it. And that's the truth. You are genuinely a kind person. Family, I want you all, let's pause real quick, and then I'm going to let Mr. Barnes speak. I want y'all to share this video. I want y'all to share this video. Everybody that's on here, do me a favor and share this video one more time. And get it in front of people. Tag people that you know, that you love, that you care for, that you're concerned about. Tag them, right? And then get this book for them, and y'all sit down and read it together. 15 minutes. What is it going? It's going to take 15 minutes for y'all to sit down and read this together. Um, and so again, I want you to speak to, just real quick again, the characters. I know you got Blue. One of them was, yeah, obsessive compulsive disorder. That was she, kind of pink,
That
right?
was the pink one, yes.
Yeah. Let's kind of talk about that. Um,
So yeah, so Frank Pink all the other balls of yarn are round. She's more of a spool that's tight knit.
Exactly.
It's just I was trying to give them all the personalities that kind of suited their neuroses. So she's more oblong and more close knit and bound up a little bit because she's obsessed with compulsive and she drops her hand sanitizer.
Yeah, man. That I tell you, family, listen, and you're going to see a lot more from Mr. Barnes in the days, weeks, months, and years to come.
Because
As
there's a part two for that one that I'm working on right now, and it's
okay,
about I learned about called the Platinum Rule, which takes the Golden Rule and expands on it. And basically, the Platinum Rule, well, the Golden Rule is treat others how you would want to be treated, but the Platinum Rule is treat others how they want to be treated. And
wow,
that that to
I
me
love it.
that spoke to me in a way because it's like sometimes what I want and need to make me feel better about myself or my day isn't exactly what the next person needs. So that means you have to now communicate with someone and get some understanding and some compassion and empathy so you can then tell them, well, I'm here for you. What is it that you need in this
Mm.
situation? And then that allows you to further build the bond and build up that person in the moment. So the platinum rule is what I'm working on next.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great follow up to this, and I think what I'm gathering is that through your art, um, you're trying to entertain, but also make the world a better place.
A little bit better, just a little, as much as I can.
Yeah, I really like that, and family, I can speak to his sincerity of that. Um, that this is genuine. This is not. He's not a person that's just going to do something to fill empty spaces. If he's writing, whatever he's doing, it's coming from a genuine place, and I know that because I know him, um, and um, and I watched him to develop into a great husband and father over these last several years, and I think that he has a lot to say, and we need to be on the lookout for what he's doing. Now, listen, before we go, you've dived into uh, the music industry somewhat, kind of, sort of,
So,
right?
yes,
And so a few weeks ago, you sent me some songs of which I listened to several. And, after I listened to the first one, I called you back immediately. You were on your way to work,
you did.
and I had a lot of questions. I wanted to know, like, where did you get this from? And you said, "Hey, I wrote it. I used this app to do it." And I'm like, "Okay, but who wrote the lyrics?" And
Oh,
then you said, "I wrote the lyrics," and I'm like, hold up," because those lyrics touched my heart in such a way. I'm thinking, man, this is amazing.
well,
So I want you to talk about a little bit about um, your music inspiration and what your plans are, if there are any plans. Uh, my eyes sweated a little bit on that first song, and I got myself together because I'm a man, and I got myself together. But it was a cry out to God, and I knew then that from the lyrics of the song, that it was a deep inspiration in a real conversation with God. Because you can't write that and not feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like some people can just write stuff, but lyrics that touch people in a place like that, you can't write that in it and not feel it, and it's not real to you. Can you talk about that a little bit before we go?
I will, but I have to give a disclaimer.
Okay.
It's gonna sound away, but it's 100% truthful, and how it sounds, how anyone may take it, It just is. This is the facts. So when I was younger, I went to this church called Raising the Standard, and there was these principles, and there was a whole lot of teaching on the apostolic, and it was ingrained in me in such a way. So it's just like it's the same way with my job. Certain after you get so much training, it becomes in you. And like say when something happens, you revert to your training. And
Sure.
every year we taught on the apostolic. Every year we
We
taught
did it every
every
year.
year we taught on the apostolic. It was so I often tell people I went to college at Raising the Standard, and that was those 4 or 5 years, 6 years that it was life altering for me. Like I wasn't even
Yeah.
a believer when we
Yeah.
I wasn't, and I came to the church to appease the lady I liked to see what was going on, and I told her, "Oh, he isn't full of crap. This isn't, and we'll keep going." and it
Sure.
and you were there, life transitioned, and here we are today. It's just and
Wow.
that apostolic training was un it's you it's you can't substitute it for anything else. So it's
Wow.
in me, and that particular song you listened to called "Save Me" is was very deeply rooted in my understanding of how you can be human while also being after God, seeking after God. And a lot of people kind of forget the fact that I don't care how, like this guy, what's his name? Kevin on stage has a show called Churchy. However churchy you may be, you're still human, and
Yeah.
save me, save me
Yeah.
from this world I've always known. And you
Yeah.
got times the apostolic teaching pushes you into the understanding of this is how you get saved, and this is what I want to be for God in my life.
Yeah, I tell you, man, that blessed me, that testimony. And, over these last couple of years, we've had a lot of people to express how that teaching is still in them and has rooted them in many ways in their lives, and it's really, really inspirational to hear that and encouraging for me as a preacher. But yeah, man, we're all human, and I think the older we get, the better we understand that. I think the older we get, the better we understand that we're not perfect. We're not perfect spouses. We're not perfect parents. We're not perfect siblings. But we're all striving and wanting. I think it's all in the desire to want to be better, right? As a person, and asking and being humble enough to ask God to save me, help me, change
Right.
me, because this world is a crazy world, and I'm in it, and I have to figure out how to function in it. Help me. The lyrics touch me deeply, man, and I want you to just give people a way to listen to your music and to purchase your book. I think that it's all in just incredible. It's really incredible. Man, I love you, man. You're just a great man. You are the definition of what it means to make no excuses for how we turn out. Growing up without a father, being challenged, in the home, but actually turning out to be a great man, um, is an inspiration to a lot of people. I pray that people will purchase this book, that people will listen to the music, and that your future has no limitations. There are people that God has placed in this world to inspire others in so many different ways, and you, my friend, are one of those people.
Well,
Give people the information to listen to your music.
I'm so grateful you even brought up the music, because here's the thing. It hasn't been talked about or discussed much, but I took 10 songs and put them together. I found a distributor. There's an album released tomorrow. like a whole album.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. There's a like it'll be available on like Spotify,
You
iTunes.
got to be kidding me.
What's it called? Like if you got an Alexa, tomorrow you should be able to say, Alexa, play "Set at the Altar" by T.M. Lawrence, and it should come on.
Are
All
you serious?
by me. I didn't sing them, but they're still my songs, so they're under my name.
Wow. Excuse me. So tomorrow,
On the
family,
20th,
y'all,
yes, if I'm not mistaken, the days. I think tomorrow's the 22nd.
tomorrow is the 22nd.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, tomorrow's the 22nd. It should be available in all those places, in most streaming places. Or say you're on Instagram and you're like making a reel, you should be able to type in "Faith Is," and it should come up, and you can use that song in your reels
Are you serious?
or on Facebook or TikTok.
Man, congratulations, fam. What's the name of the album?
It's called "Written By," just
Written
written.
by.
That's it, "Written By."
And
And
then
of course, my name is Tremaine Varnes, but you can type in Tremaine Varnes, T.M. Varnes, Tremaine M. Varnes, whatever, any variation, you should be able to find me. And I'm on Facebook, T.M. Varnes, on Instagram, T.M. Varnes, TikTok, T.M. Varnes, everywhere, T.M. Varnes.
everywhere, T.M. Barnes. And the book is available.
It's on. It's I sold out all paper, all copies. So now it's on print on demand, and you can get it from BookBaby. And you can type in T.M. Varnes at bookbaby.com or
Wow.
Google Tim Varnes and BookBaby Unraveling. It'll give you. It should take you directly to the page to get the book.
Again, family, Unraveling by T.M. Barnes. This is what it looks like. Family, we've had an incredible conversation and discussion with author and 911 dispatch, T.M. Barnes, and now songwriter
Oh,
and
right.
producer, T.M. Barnes. I am, good evening, Bishop Marvin Sapp and Chosen Vessel family. Amen. All right. Hey, Linda Williams, listen, tell Marvin Sapp if he needs some new songs, he needs to reach out to T.M. Barnes
This guy right here.
to get some good lyrics, heartfelt and sincere lyrics, right? I think that's what it is. Listen, family, we want you to follow him, check him out on all platforms. T.M. Barnes, get his book, listen to his music. There's an album release on tomorrow on all platforms. I promise you that this music will bless you. Okay, this music will bless you. We've had an incredible discussion, sir. We appreciate you for coming on and having a
Thank you, bro.
conversation with us, and we're looking forward to part two of Unraveling coming out, so we can talk about the golden rule. We'll come back on and have a whole conversation about that. Family, we want you to follow us at Epic Church Atlanta on Facebook. Follow me and my wife, the Wits. Check this out on YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube. It's on LinkedIn. We appreciate everybody. Again, shout out to our founder and our CEO, Dr. Jacqueline King. We thank God for her and the vision. Listen, we are getting ready, we've already launched a major platform where people can get prescriptions through BWE at a serious discount. So we're
Nah,
going to be talking more about that in the weeks to come. But it's going to be incredible. It's going to revolutionize our community and all communities. Anybody that is suffering from high costs of prescriptions, we're going to be able to help. And so we're grateful to our founder, Dr. Jacqueline King, and all of the things that God is doing with and through her, right? And we appreciate the Lord for giving us the favor and having us along for the ride. Again, we thank you. We'll see you next time. Y'all be safe. Treat others how you want to be treated. You never know when somebody's unraveling. Until
thank
next time, grace and peace.